Got a ready from Joseph. That's right. And Joseph beat Brodamp in the finals, right? Was it the finals? Yeah. But this will be the last time there's a 21st seed in CTM. Never happening again. Done. No max outs left behind is over. All right, we got it ready from Brodamp. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. All right, I think they're chatting. Should we restart the we got to restart the playlist again, right? Yeah, restart that playlist. All right, Alan's on the board with the first Tetris. Joseph's got one. And this time, hey, last week when we did Challenger Circuit and all that, I had to go buy Spotify because I forgot to download all the music. Like I bought it on Bandcamp, but I forgot to download it. And I hadn't paid for my Spotify subscription, so I had to buy Spotify. But now I am playing FLAC versions of the music. So the highest fidelity you could possibly have. Lossless versions of FLEX style. Here we go. 91,000 for Joseph. 56,000 for Alan. And I suspect that Adam is back. I feel like he grabbed the microphone, but I can't prove it.
Hey, Adam's back.
There he is. Adam is back. Well, it's over. It's already done. So. Oh man.
That does. We have the two former champions.
That's right.
Clashing in the semifinal.
Yeah, crazy. It's just a lot of champions in this bracket. Corian was in this bracket. Nenu is in this bracket. So it's probably the toughest bracket I think we've ever had. So, I mean, just insane. So 165 from Joseph. He's got a Tetris again. 188 here at 40 lines. 155 from Alan. And I was just commenting. They have more or less the same haircut there, Adam.
It looks like it. Yeah, it just, Alan needs to get it together and get a nice visor, I think. And then,
the other thing is, I think you and I have the same haircut, Adam.
Yeah, it's a popular haircut. Free, takes little to no effort.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you leave like a little spot, so you look like you're dying of radiation sickness. So.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I do leave a spot and I left the house and then I feel it. I scratch my head and I'm like, oh my God, there's a quarter-inch long spot over what is otherwise a shiny thing, and I just feel so embarrassed.
Yeah, it's a true struggle. It happens to me more often than I'd like to admit, but that's where the hat comes in. Kind of give up. Ooh, Joseph with a long bar dependency up there. That is not a situation you want to be in, even if you're Joseph. But looks like he's going to weasel his way out of it here.
Well, when you're the world champ, you just sort of get all the pieces you need, right?
Yeah. A lot of it's like poker. It's like skill and being a luck box is sometimes what gets you there.
All right, so a couple of Tetrises in quick succession for Joseph, and he's looking good right now. 275 through 74 lines. And Alan's board, not looking great. Not looking great, but still low enough where he can manage this, and you're going to love that L piece coming down. And, a lot of times you say, oh my God, they're getting perfect pieces. But really, it's the flexibility of the board that the player is leaving themselves, which makes it look like they're getting perfect pieces.
Yeah, it's one of my pet peeves in commentary that I am still guilty of is saying, oh, he got the pieces he needed, which it's never that simple.
Well, I wouldn't say never, but sometimes, most of the times, it's not that simple.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are times when, you get a perfect bailout, and that's just, you just needed it and you got it. But yeah, for the most part, these guys are able to play flexibly enough. They can maneuver the pieces around enough that they can make most pieces work.
And they're also sort of preemptively strategizing what they know is going to get them in the worst trouble and avoiding that. So
413 for Joseph, 367 for Alan. Joseph's going to misdrop a T-piece down the left side. And the one thing, even if you're the world champ, you don't want to do is put gaps down the left side.
He had a nice little save there with a little spin tuck that got him out of that, so that was cool.
It was cool.
And Alan banging down the Tetris to take the lead, but he's a little bit ahead in lines. So,
Joseph missed a line spin. So, Adam didn't see the line spin because he's not trained to see the line spin, but I saw what he was trying to do, and he missed the line spin. And when people know that I love line spins, and so I think they disproportionately do them in CTM for my benefit, and I always feel like really guilty, like I caused it.
Yeah, I think that's very kind of them to just try to entertain you, the king of CTM. That's that wouldn't be my strategy. But.
Yeah.
All right, Brodendamp with the transition and a solid 507-point score. While Joseph's pushing his luck, he's pretty high for a transition, and takes the triple, and timely long bar, and turns out not to be a problem. But he's still significantly behind because Broden has not had the types of problems that Joseph's had.
497 for Joseph, 580 for Alan.
Some nice burns there by Alan. Joseph just trying to get clean. Looks like he's going to get there here sooner than later. But Broden has been steady and strong for quite a while now. A little bit of a situation developing. Nice adjustment. Now Joseph is in a really tough situation.
Oh, but getting the perfect pieces, Adam.
There you go. There goes those perfect pieces again. That was all there was to it. Was just getting the right pieces, of course.
Yeah, I'm always blown away by just how casually these guys could snap the S spin down the right side on 19. Like it's nothing. For me, it's like a miraculous event that I'll remember for like weeks and months to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But for them,
you frame it.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it on the fridge with a magnet.
Yeah. Yeah. For them, whatever. 649 for Joseph, back into the lead. 641 for Alan. And it's a real lead for Joseph because he's behind in lines. And Alan's board a little weird on the left and needs a long bar like now.
Pole vaulting though to stay alive.
No.
Hangs that long bar. Yeah. That is unfortunate for Alan. He had the lead on Joseph for a big chunk of that game, and just like he does, Joseph wasn't going anywhere.
Yep. Yeah, and Alan had those sort of gaps on the left side, and they were like in the same row as the hole over his Tetris well. And once he covered those gaps, then it was just like, and then he couldn't. His left side was inaccessible, and that was it. And then he tops out, and that's a recipe for dying in Tetris.
Yeah, that's a common situation you'll see at CTWC where great players top out, is not realizing where their gaps are and then burying their well.
Yep. All right, let's get it ready from both players. We got one from Brodendamp, and we've got we need another one from Joseph, and we've got it. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, Tetris.
Yeah, but let's give credit where credit's due. Joseph with some great digging, some really creative and nice improvisational playing by Joseph, and some pretty bizarre scenarios he created.
And, and still at really good pace. I mean, like, he could still have maxed out from this. So, if max out's still a thing, which I refuse to acknowledge that it's a thing anymore.
Max outs are so 2 years ago.
Right? Max outs. Everybody can max out.
It was funny. Someone pointed out that in our YouTube description, our generic YouTube description, we still had over 20 players have maxed out. Will you be next? And I felt kind of embarrassed. I was like, yeah, it's a little out of date.
Yeah. What's worse, the 20 players or will you be next?
Yeah, it's like we're trying to copy some sort of like weird cereal box language. I don't know why we do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems perfectly okay at the time, right? It's like, yeah, no, it's exactly what we want to express.
That's the kind of writer I am, is I just start typing and I channel the first cheesy thing that comes to mind, and then I just go with it for the rest of my life. I mean, that's one way of writing.
Yeah, that's fabulous. All right, 96,000, now 119 for Joseph after a Tetris, 95,000 for Alan. He's got a Tetris well in the 8th column. See, I still have to count. Like 10, 9, 8. Okay, there it is, right. And still going for that. Oh, and he's got it. All right, so he decided to build up for it. Had an opportunity to try to build it down, but went for it, and he gets the Tetris. 123 for him.
It is, I think, the most interesting. You can kind of group players into two categories. You got your sort of, to go back to the originals, you got your sort of Jonases and your Harrys. The people that make really clean, consistent stacks and never deviate from this particular strategy. And then players more in the Jonas or Joseph category that do all kinds of crazy things that you wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
And so I feel like both Alan and Joseph are more in that latter category, where they seem to get themselves into some wild situations and then just figure it out, which is the most entertaining thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and definitely the more surgical kind of clinical way that someone like Harry or Corey on stack. Now, both of them certainly capable of that, but I think what they do is they simplify the game by, having sort of a default strategy and just a place where they know where every piece is going.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
where it almost feels like players like Joseph come up with situations you've never seen before, and you can believe that he's never seen it before.
Yeah.
And then he does the perfect thing. So that's the most amazing thing to see, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot of these double, triple tucks, it's all impossible to predict.
Yeah. It's all, but all these players like Joseph and of course Batfoy is in that same situation, same sort of description. Jake, those guys, certainly more along the Jonas side, all learned it from Jonas, right? And yet they still have, with the exception of Batfoy, they have this hyper tap, and it just makes them like this unstoppable force. There's it's kind of a notion going around that hyper tappers tend to be worse stackers, and there may be some actual truth to that, because they can sort of stack poorly but get themselves out of the situations that they put themselves in as a result. But when you get somebody like Jake or Joseph or Brodendamp, which is so creative and with the hyper tap, like almost unstoppable,
and those last second adjustments, like you just saw one from Brodendamp where they'll realize, based on the next piece that's coming, a better placement at the last second, and they're confident to execute that. I mean, that's dangerous, and that's something that Jonas used to be the best at. Yeah, I mean, I think overall this notion that hyper tappers aren't as good at stacking is really wishful thinking, at least from what I see here at CTM. I mean,
yeah, it's all we have left, Adam. It's all we have. We could just say, yeah, you're a tapper, but you're a crappy stacker. At least I can play dat. I can't. I've got to say, it's a way that I, with a 637k PB, can be superior to most tappers.
Yeah. So anyway, I wouldn't pay much credence to those theories. However, I'm sure occasionally it's true.
All right, 496. Very diplomatic. 496 for Joseph. 495 for Alan, separated by one line. So, I mean, literally the same score, same pace. But no more.
You could say that this is shades of, there's a lot of talk when it's at the CTWC that, Joseph is facing his mentor Corian, which, is a little bit of drama on Chris Tank's part. But, I think this is kind of true when a lot of these players face Joseph. They're up against the guy who completely inspired them to even get involved.
Yep.
And here they are just a year later, going toe to toe with them. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. I mean, just as like, Joseph, getting to play Corian, and then all these guys like, oh man, it's like, it's got to be a bit surreal. And, it's kind of like, for me, it's like if I got to face Roger Clemens or whatever, like as a batter, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm facing Roger Clemens.
Or it's like when, rough misplacement, a sort of weird spin. I wasn't even clear on what Joseph was trying to do there. And now he's in a tight spot. Oh, nice. Once again, talking about improvisational L spin there was wild. And he's really given himself a good chance to get out of this. But meanwhile, Alan is just clean and playing normally, so building up a little bit of a lead. Wow, you got to hand it to Joseph. I mean, he looks like he's going to get out of this. Ooh.
Oh, but he's actually set up
30 Tetris. And then bangs down a second Tetris. Incredible.
Yeah, just turn every misdrop into a dirty Tetris. No problem.
He is the cockroach of Tetris. He just won't die.
Yeah. That's fair.
But still, that's not a good nickname, but it's actually...
don't call someone a cockroach of Tetris. Like, worst thing you could call someone.
But it was in the context of a compliment, so...
Yeah, that's all right. We'll give you a pass.
And Alan is still ahead, so, and he's actually got an advantage in lines as well. So despite Joseph's great digging, he's still got a significant deficit he's working with.
All right, so players have a little more breathing room here than they did in previous rounds because this is a best of 5. But certainly, you'd much rather be up 2 games to none than 1-1.
Nice. And Alan working with about a 60,000 point lead. Playing really well. But we see Joseph's got a couple Tetrises set up, so he's going to close that gap.
Yeah, when you're up against the world record high score player, oh no, Alan, but no big deal, gets another long bar. When you're up against the world record high score player, I mean, you can't let up.
Yeah, no lead is safe here. Excellent. Joseph taking a commanding lead, and now Alan with a few misplacements is actually in a really tough spot. Nice long bar spin.
Oh my god, I can't take it.
Just for you.
Yeah. Well, this is my real big bugaboo as a commentator is I get into it and I just watch it, right? And I can't get out of it.
Oh, Alan. So well fought. Really good attempt. But once again, credit where credit's due. Joseph just put up an amazing game. And let's go ahead and let him finish it and see.
Yeah, if he gets the 1.1.
After all those digs, he's still coming up with just an incredible score.
And it's falling apart. And he's got the 1 million, which I think I'm going to start saying 1 million. I'm not saying max. That's it. I'm done saying max out. After today, max outs don't exist for me. I'm saying 1 million. That's it. I'm done.
And someone here said, Chimera 1992, these Joseph tucks are simply disgusting. He did some wild sequences where 2-3 tucks in a row, and doesn't really know where he's going to go with it. He just sets them up and lets it play out however, and doesn't skip a beat. So that's incredible.
All right, I will give away a free gift sub if I ever say someone maxed out during a match. Then I will give away a free gift sub. That's it. I'm committing. No more max out.
I mean, should we come up with another kind of catchphrase for a max out?
I'll let you work on that.
All right, I'll see what I can think of.
And then Max Out Club says, what should I call Max Out Club instead? Sorry, Trey. All right, let us get ready from both players. We'll move on to game 3, this best of 5 semifinals. The winner goes to the finals. So ready from Joseph, and I need a ready from Alan.
Oh, thanks, Lucas Tetris, for making my joke work about the cockroach. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, he says, after a nuclear war, there would be just Joseph playing Tetris in the middle of a Mad Max-style world.
That's right. All right, Alan says ready. So, Adam, why don't you go ahead and count it down from 3?
Okay, elimination game. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, Tetris.
Yeah, people think I will still say max out. I mean, I can say the word, I can utter the word max out, but I'm not going to I'm not going to say, oh my god, he maxed out.
The max out club be like the 6ix9ine Mafia or something. So I don't think that works. It's just too tough sounding for Tetris.
Yeah, it is. All right, there he is, the cockroach of Tetris on the left.
Probably the worst nickname anyone's ever given a champion. So I apologize.
And you did it.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Yep.
I'm accountable. I'm all about accountability here. So.
Yeah. clearly.
And I'm into getting fired too. So.
Well, who knows? It remains to be seen. You're doing all right.
All right.
All right, 10,000 here for Joseph, waiting on his long bar here for his first Tetris. Gets it. He's already set up for another one. And Alan here with a streak of 4 Tetrises here in the early goings.
Yeah, it's just these players on 18, it just seems sort of not much tension. You feel like they're, not being challenged too much, but you never know. 18 can sneak up on you.
Well, folks ask, like, hey, at a certain point, don't you think it's going to make sense to instead start on 19 for these tournaments and that kind of thing? And I don't think we're really ever going to get to that point. I think 18 is enough of, I think it's fast enough. And I think the element of, 18 for 130 lines and then the sort of dramatic increase in speed at 19 is, I don't know, it's an element that, I don't know, it's like I don't know, it's part of the drama of these
this has been discussed because there was times when CTWC not that long ago was not as popular as it is now. And we were really kind of scratching our heads, what do we need to do to make this as exciting as possible? So that came up, I'd say, 3 years ago, let's say. And it's just not classic Tetris. If you don't have the 18 play, it's just missing such a critical element of really the less reactive strategy, where you can almost see the thought process as opposed to just fighting for your life, so.
And I think what 18 adds now, though, is the ability to give these players the chance to make unforced errors, right? Because it's a little bit slower than they're capable of playing in a like reactive subconscious way.
Mm-hmm.
And players do that. So I don't know. I think that's what now 18 sort of adds as a start, is to say, okay, let's allow these guys to sort of, kind of be almost too cerebral and see what happens. And then, then we'll go to the real fast thing where they don't have to think and they just play instinctively.
We've also found, for those who haven't been to CTWC, it's an entirely different experience. The audience empathizes so strongly with the players on stage that the audience becomes completely exhausted.
Yeah.
And so we need you almost need that buffer. If you did 19 all day, everyone would be at the hospital by the time this thing is over.
Yeah. Chris Tang would be on the floor.
He would be asphyxiating.
Yeah,
it would be awful.
Yeah, just spittle coming out of them. It would be a mess. Can't do that to poor Chris.
Very good point.
Yeah.
And James Chen, he would no longer be able to speak.
Yeah.
He would lose his voice forever. It would be terrible. I would definitely, I've never been so tired than after CTWC, to the point that I've almost stopped watching while I'm there, because I just can't get into the drama and run the tournament at the same time.
Well, it's me and CTM. I pretty much stopped watching at some point in the middle of it, even though I'm running it. All right, 451 for Joseph. Alan with a misdrop, though, able to turn that into a slightly dirty Tetris. A couple rows off the bottom. 370 for him. Another Tetris for Joseph, making this about a 100,000 point lead.
So Alan's going to go for a dirty Tetris, as he should, being a bit behind, or more than a bit behind. Has to take the square burn there, no choice. So it's unclear where he's going to gain this ground. It's not going to happen on level 18. So it's going to be post-transition is going to be Alan's best hope. Joseph headed right for a 600,000 transition.
Yeah, still got another 5 Tetrises available. And so that would put it at about 110,000 available points till before 19.
Alan getting a really unfortunate drought at a bad time. But there he goes. Finally gets a Tetris. Yeah, Joseph just one after another. It's an awesome transition score that he's working towards right now. Ooh, and then, yeah, For good measure, the Z-spin and another Tetris goes into transition with a 639. Alan has his work cut out for him. And that shades of a champion in an elimination game, just putting the punishment on Alan.
Yeah. Now, of course, it's a cliche and oversaid, but anything can happen. But there's such a, it's 200,000 points here difference at transition. So this is a real challenge for Alan to overcome. And honestly, Joseph could really just cruise here and not get into too much trouble, and Alan would have a real hard time catching up.
Yeah, I don't know if Joseph has much Ooh,
no.
Joseph tries to execute a pole vault and misflips, and now he's fighting for his life, but well within his capabilities. And Alan gets a longbar at the last minute, but he's got quite a spire in the middle. He's dealing with both players.
And Joseph about to gift Alan, and then Alan can't take advantage because Alan was in the process of topping out, and that was like Alan's chance. Alan really had a chance if he could have just hung on somehow and stayed alive. He really had a chance to chase Joseph down, but it's not going to happen, and Joseph is going to get the heart and move into the finals. Oof. Sweep.
That would have been, in fairness, if Alan had have stayed alive, that was still a big rundown that he had ahead of him, and that would have been awesome to see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, he would have needed about, 25 lines just to get to sort of the bottom, and then he would have to, get a bunch of Tetrises from there too. So still would have been possible, and we've seen Broden do chase downs like that. But it was not to be, and Joseph going into the finals and looking for win number 5 against a couple of random dudes that we've never heard of. So let me go ahead and bring up the bracket. And
Joseph with another easy road to the finals. Only had to play Nenu, Corian, and Broden.
Yeah, whatever. It's easy. Whatever.
That's sort of like his 2018 run where, I just had to play Harry, Yanni, Corian, and Jonas. No big deal. First time.
All right, so let me go ahead and get this set up. And